Shalom. Hope that this pre-Shabbat video finds you and your family healthy and safe and getting ready for a beautiful Shabbos. Every time I call my father, I ask him, "How are you today?" His response is always the same. He says, "Well, I got up this morning, so I guess it's good." My father is, thank God, healthy, and even though he's getting on in his years, but frankly, it used to irritate me that he would always give that same response. I felt it was pessimistic, maybe even fatalistic, maybe even a little bit guilt-inducing. But the older I get, the more I've begun to appreciate the sentiment. In this week's Parsha, Avraham sends his servant Eliezer to find a suitable bride for his son Isaac. Before sending him, the Torah clues us in on an implicit urgency in Abraham's instructions. V'Avraham zakein ba b'yamim. The Torah tells us that Abraham was now old. He was zakein. The very end of the Parsha, Abraham will die. But the words ba b'yamim, usually translated as he was advanced in age, are a redundancy, as discussed by many of the traditional commentators. The mystical text, the Zohar, suggests a different meaning that is in keeping with a more literal translation. That is, ba b'yamim means coming in or with his years. The Zohar teaches that Abraham, quote, came to old age with all his days, ba im kol hayamim. In rabbinic literature, years and days are sometimes interchangeable. The Zohar means to say is that he had used each individual moment properly. He achieved each and every day that which was required on that day. Nevertheless, the Zohar continues, he came, quote, with all his days, comprising a whole, each day having contributed something to his personality and his conduct, unquote. For the Zohar, Abraham's chronological age was merely a function of the years past, but what really mattered was how he used those years. Every year, indeed every day, had value. Every day lived made Abraham who he was at that moment. At some point in our lives, we begin to reverse our count up to a count down. For most of us, this shift is gradual. We can't quite pinpoint where that change occurred. All we know is that one morning we wake up and we ask ourselves, how do we get to where we are? Where did all the years go? What are the aggregate experiences that define us? When we're in our 20s, most of us don't wake up and say, well, I got up this morning, so I guess I'm good. It's hard to have that kind of perspective at that age. But at any age, we can ask ourselves before going to sleep at night, what did I achieve today? It's an exercise that CEOs and political leaders and great teachers and artists and writers and the most productive people worldwide do on a regular basis, and so can you. That way, one day when your years catch up with you, you will be able to say, Bati im kol hayamim, I came to this moment with an accounting for each and every day. Shabbat Shalom.